Welcome back to The Explainer. So glad you're here. Today, we are unpacking something that literally makes the world go round. We're demystifying project management. We'll take this journey all the way from high-level corporate theory, looking at how the biggest companies in the world operate, right down to recognizing those hidden, incredibly valuable skills that you probably use in your everyday life without even realizing it.
Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with defining project management, then look at the high cost of failure. After that, we'll dive into a manager's daily responsibilities, and finally, we'll wrap up with your transferable skills in life.
All right, Section 1, Defining Project Management. Let's get into the theory and foundations.
So, first up, what exactly is a project? Well, by definition, a project is a unique, temporary endeavor with a defined beginning and end and unique deliverables. Think about it like this. A project isn't just your ongoing, everyday, repetitive work. No, it's a very specific pursuit. It's got a clear starting line, a definitive finish line, and a very specific desired outcome. Basically, it's a series of tasks that absolutely must be completed to cross that finish line.
Now let's see how that builds into project management. This is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to meet project requirements and achieve a desired outcome. The management aspect is all about the careful planning, the intense collaboration, and the meticulous tracking needed to hit that unique outcome perfectly on time, and crucially, strictly on budget. It's really the engine that drives the whole thing from that defined beginning to that defined end.
Moving on to Section 2, the high cost of failure. Let's visualize the stakes here.
Trillions of dollars. Yeah, you heard that right. Trillions. More and more companies are waking up to this harsh reality. Poor project management literally leads to trillions of wasted dollars every single year for organizations all over the world. It brilliantly and kind of painfully illustrates just how catastrophic a lack of planning can be on a massive global scale. And what's really interesting is how we can break down that massive failure into specific, painful statistics. Look at this. 48% of poorly managed projects completely miss their delivery dates. 43% miss their budget targets. And 31%, they just outright fail to meet the organization's goals. Without good management, applying those skills and tools we just defined, a huge chunk of projects simply fall apart. They blow deadlines and they completely drain bank accounts.
Which brings us to Section 3, a manager's daily responsibilities. Let's look at the day-to-day reality. So the absolutely crucial point here is that a project manager usually cycles through 3 core phases to keep everything on track. Step 1 is planning and organizing. Step 2 is managing tasks. And Step 3 is budgeting and controlling costs. You see, these aren't just one-off events. This is the chronological loop a manager constantly lives in to ensure the project actually reaches that finish line we talked about. Let's unpack Step 1, planning and organizing. This basically means figuring out exactly what your project is trying to accomplish. You gather requirements from your teammates or customers. You host kickoff meetings to get everyone hyped up and informed. You might send out surveys. And, crucially, you create the alignment project plans. This step is a big deal because it sets the entire tone of the project, keeps everyone on pace, and aligns the whole team's vision. Once that plan is locked in, you move right into Step 2, managing tasks. This is where the project is officially underway. And here, your primary weapon is constant communication. You're keeping team members and customers updated on how the project is progressing and communicating key milestones. You've got to keep everyone completely in the loop on how things are actually moving along against that initial plan. And then, of course, we have Step 3, budgeting and controlling costs. Honestly, this is practically a full-time job in itself. Why? Well, because that perfectly crafted plan you made back in Step 1, it will inevitably change. And when plans change, unexpected expenses always pop up. It's the project manager's responsibility to adapt to these changing plans, manage those unexpected expenses, and keep the whole project strictly on track financially. Let's bring all this theory to life with a massive, real-world example from our source material. Imagine a school district signing a deal with a telehealth company. The goal here is to let students do virtual checkups with doctors right there at school so they don't miss class. Now, this is a massive project. You have to start by planning and organizing. That's signing the deal. Then you manage tasks like training the faculty on the new tech. You have to budget and control costs, which means accounting for all those tablets and computers. The whole shebang has to be perfectly managed to hit that unique deliverable, a successful launch by the end of the school year. But whether it's a telehealth launch in a school district or coordinating some massive AI program at Google, the ultimate goal remains exactly the same: adding value. A project manager adds value by creating a brand new service from the ground up or tailoring an old service perfectly to a customer's needs. It's incredibly satisfying work, really, because you get to watch something grow from absolutely nothing into something tremendously valuable.
All right, section 4, transferable skills in life, because guess what? You already have what it takes.
I want you to genuinely ask yourself for a second. Have you ever planned a surprise party? Or maybe organized a big cross-country move? If you are sitting there nodding your head, well, congratulations, because you have already successfully managed projects. You've dealt with the pressure, the responsibility, and for sure, the strict deadlines. Let's look at a quick comparison here. When you organize a massive move, your everyday task is coordinating family to help, packing and labeling boxes room by room so you know exactly what goes where. But in the professional world, that exact same skill is called managing multiple tasks simultaneously. You see, you're already doing the high-level logistics. Or hey, maybe you've worked in retail or the service industry. Your everyday task might have been planning retail schedules to match work styles, making sure all duties were covered for a shift despite everyone's complicated availabilities. My friends, in project management, that is complex resource planning and ensuring coverage. It's literally the exact same mental muscles being used. Let's go back to that surprise party project for a minute and really break it down. It's amazing how perfectly it mirrors the exact same 3 daily responsibilities we discussed earlier. When you chose a venue, you were planning and organizing. When you sent out those invitations and tracked RSVPs, you were managing tasks. And when you calculated how much food to buy based on the guest list, you were budgeting and controlling costs. You were absolutely a project manager, even if the guest of honor almost walked in early and ruined the whole thing. And this brings us to the most empowering takeaway of this entire explainer. The abilities that helped you complete these past projects are a great selling point for yourself as a future project manager. When you're in a job interview and they ask, "Tell me about a time you juggled several tasks at once," or "Tell me about a time you had to influence a teammate," do not hesitate to use these everyday life examples. They perfectly prove your innate skills with time management and leadership. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to ponder today. What's the next big project hiding in your everyday life, and how will you manage it? The next time you're organizing a dinner, planning a vacation, or moving apartments, I really challenge you to look at it through the lens of a project manager. See the planning, see the tasks, see the budgeting. You already have the skills. Now it's just about claiming the title. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the amazing structures that make our world work.